Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Neptune Sextile or Trine one's natal sun. Now, this transit could manifest in dreams, inspiration, idealism, sacrifice, and fantasizing, and this could be in harmony and agreement with your vitality and physical body. Now, I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. This is a time when you can be idealistic without necessarily being unrealistic about what you can physically accomplish. If you have your natal sun in Capricorn, it might be doing something with construction or architecture, or even you could be doing just general mundane work. Um, it could be doing something when you have this transit as well. It's about having the inspiration to do things and having that vitality and energy to do things that may be inspiring to you at this point in time. It's also a time when this transit takes place where you have more, Neptune is about sacrifice. And it's more of an opportunity if you want to sacrifice for somebody, whether, say, if you have the transit in the 11th house, could be sacrificing for a friend or a group, club, or organization, and having that physical energy to be able to do so at this time. And it's a time too, I would say. I mean, given that the sun is also, I mean, it's connected with life, our life, and it's a time where if you're somebody that is spiritual, especially, where you can incorporate even more spirituality into your life, whether it's through the actions or what have you. It's also a time where you could really, where dreams that, what you can do, as far as what you can accomplish physically, this could be a positive time, for making them come to fruition, because it's a time where what you feel you can do physically, you could be idealistic, again idealistic without being unrealistic in doing so. And it's also a good time for creativity because Neptune is about imagination and the sun is creative energy. It's connected with creativity. This is a very good time if you do like creative work, where you could really flourish because it's a very good blending of that, again, that imagination and creativity. If you're somebody that does like fantasy artwork, I would say it could be a very positive time in order to be to do this, where you could even do accomplish things that are very that are very imaginative and very creative at this point in time. It's also a time where you may be, in terms of perceiving the biological father and children, it's a time again where you can be more idealistic in your perception of them without being necessarily unrealistic, where you're seeing the good qualities. You may understand the negative characteristics of these people, but at the same time it's a good time to emphasize the positive, not completely overlook the negative, but to accentuate the positive in these people more so than you ordinarily would. And this, and also the sun is connected with dominant males in your life, and anybody, if it's somebody in a position of authority, say if you're in a subordinate or subservient role at your place of business, this is a time where you can more of an opportunity to sacrifice your time for this person and be able, if you're requested or called upon to work more hours, as an example, than you ordinarily do, this is a time when you'd be more willing to do so, as Neptune, of course, is very sacrificing as far as the energy goes. Now, the thing about this too is that anatomically speaking, okay, the sun is connected with the heart, the spine, and the upper back. So it's a time as well, if you've had any, these issues that I just stated that are anatomically associated with the sun, this is a time where you may be more inspired to do something about it. And if you're taking action on those matters, if you procrastinated or hesitated for some time. It's a time where you could be more inspired to do something about it, or if you have had, ongoing chronic issues with what I described, it could be about being simply more idealistic about taking care of them, about what you can do. It could even be just working through, those issues that you may have with it. So with those matters I just described, that can be anatomically connected with the planet, the sun. So anyway, another thing too. Again, this is about having that inspiration, to be taking action and to be doing things of a creative nature. Um, and if the natal sun, is an Aquarius, it could be doing something of an innovative, nature, or it might be. I mean, the sun is about creation. It could be about actually creating something that's innovative or something associated with astronomy or computers, as some other examples. And this is more, I would say, tying to, going back to the fact that Neptune is connected with imagination. And the sun is about creativity, and using the sun in Aquarius again as an example. It could be doing something where, if you're somebody that's like a computer graphics artist, this could be the time to really incorporate that imagination with that creativity of the sun. And it's also a time as well where you could be more inspired to attain your basic wants, and do so, and instead of, this is what, Neptune is about, what we dream and what we fantasize, and those things, that you want, you may be able to attain, but it's important, this transit is such where, it could be about the attainment of having those dreams come to reality, come to fruition, as long as they are realistic, and it's not something that's unattainable. It's like saying, well, say you have your natal sun in Sagittarius and you're trying to attain something sports related, something that's associated with athletics as an example. And if you're bench pressing 350 pounds one day, you're probably not going to be, and that was your maximum weight you could bench press. 1 week later, you're probably not going to bench press 500. But if you were trying to, set the goal for like 3 months, and you were trying to get to, 400 pounds as a maximum weight to bench press, that would be an example of being a little bit more realistic, but being idealistic with what you can attain at this time. And it's also a time where the focus and attention, which is connected with the sun, it's easier to do so in connection with Neptune related matters, whether it could be poetry, dancing, photography, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, those chemistry, those things can be. It's a time where you could put that right amount of focus and attention on those things at this time, more so than usual. Now, another way this transit may manifest, it could be again about inspiration, which is Neptune, to take action, which is the sun. Now, let's say, for example, if the natal sun is in Taurus, it could be doing something with, taking action on a gardening matter, cultivation, geology. It could be a monetary situation. Maybe there's carpet laying that needs to be done, something with agriculture, as some examples. Another thing too, another way this transit can be expressed, it could be where dreams, which is Neptune, is more about having the drive, the right amount of drive and motivation, which is the sun, to attain. Now, let's say, for example, if transit Neptune is in Aquarius in the 8th house, it could be doing something with computers, which is Aquarius, and forensics, which is the 8th house. Maybe it'd be a bionic transformation. Be another example. I'm only joking, of course, on that one. But anyway, now another thing too is that Neptune, this time I describe this as Neptune-related people, can be more in harmony and agreement with your basic character, which is the sun. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, when I say Neptune related people, I'm referring to people that are, in businesses or professions connected with Neptune, such as poetry, dancing, photography, the metaphysical, which includes astrology. And again, Neptune related people can be more in harmony and agreement with your basic character, which is the sun. Now, if the sun is in Capricorn as an example, it could be basic character that's very structured, consistent, disciplined, responsible, ambitious as some examples. Now, it's also could be very positive and auspicious for escaping, which is Neptune, to do what you want, which is the sun. Now, if the sun is in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be introverted activities, laundry, plumbing, cooking, as some examples. Now, it's also a time where to be idealistic, which is Neptune, about what you have, the vitality and energy, which is the sun for. If the natal sun is in Sagittarius, it could be doing something with sports, adventure, publishing. It could be doing something that requires work with a printing press operation, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.